looking at the most beautiful sunset out of my window right now.
Oh,
I know, it's pink and light blue and purple.
Oh, yeah. And what's that right on the horizon? It's the No Kidding Podcast.
Welcome.
Welcome to our beautiful sunset of a podcast. We're not sunsetting the podcast.
No, we
It's
are your sunset for your day. So you better be listening to this in the evening. We'll round out the perfect day for you.
I always love to listen to sunsets. It's my favorite way to enjoy them.
Exactly, because you want that silence, that peaceful serenity and
too true.
Calm. Yeah. So this will be
Lisa,
a not so calming episode. Yeah. What's up?
Are you not calm? Are you hyper?
I am kind of
hyper.
I'm a little hyper. Yeah.
You are?
I am a little bit.
Oh, so you tried my high caffeine smoky tea?
I did. Actually, I did. And I also just tonight had a chai tea, iced chai tea with some coconut and almond milk blend, plus a little bit of hazelnut creamer, just a dash. Trying that out. I don't know if I love it, but I love, chai tea. So yeah, it's kind of a dessert for me. I like to have it as a dessert, which I normally have after dinner, but then I forget that chai has caffeine in it, which
right. I mean, some people like that, like espresso after dinner.
That's true. Yeah, I wonder if that's a good thing for your body. Yeah, I
find it interesting how you pivoted there. I was like, did you try my tea? And you're like, yeah, I had that and I had chai tea. Let's talk about the chai tea.
I just because it's fresh on my mind, I just had it before we started. So
I see.
But yeah, I did try your other tea. I think I'm going, the first time I tried it straight, like just the tea, no mixers, nothing else. It was intense, I will say. And I mean, it's kind of does remind me a little bit of the chai, which is why that also reminded me of the chai. But that's why I feel like it might need a little milk dash. Sorry, I had a little moment. Anyway, I almost knocked over my...
Sure.
Yeah. Anyway.
Everything. Just the whole setup crashing down.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of room for my hands here. I'm kind of boxed in this little corner, and I have like 2 microphones in front of me, and anyways. So
so you're saying like a milky smoky tea.
I kind of
interesting.
Yeah, I feel like it needs so the tea itself has a strong flavor, so I feel like it needs to be cut with something a little calmer, like a milk, like a plant-based milk of some kind. But I don't know, because I didn't try it. So
here's my question to you: should I start carrying a single serving of plant-based milk in my back pocket?
I don't think that would transfer well. That's just my opinion, though. I mean,
well, here's my problem. I've talked about this before. To your disdain, I've been into boba. Yeah,
it's
been an enjoyable thing. Here's the thing. Like my friend, he's really into the milk teas, and I get that. Like the milk teas are good. I've had them a couple times, especially like the Thai tea.
Thai tea,
but
okay.
There's a situation because like.
Yes,
I'm on that low fat diet, and there's problems with almost no place has alternative milks. They're always just like, we're gonna give you freaking full fat milk.
Okay, like what kind of places are you talking about?
I don't know, just like boba places around Orlando. I don't want to call anybody out because I feel like I'm going to call somebody
out. No, I mean
like,
yeah. I just meant like, do you mean like coffee houses, or are you talking like?
No, coffee houses are usually pretty good about it because they're all hip and trendy. And they're like, oh, we have 17 kinds of milk. And I'm like, that's too many kinds of milk, quite frankly.
It kind of is. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, where was I recently that I stuttered for a second? I actually, it was enjoyable because the guy caught it. And I can't remember. I was ordering something and I was like, yeah, and I'll have this. And he's like, yeah, and regular milk's fine. And I don't know. And I assumed like, yeah, that was the only option. But then why would he ask? And I was like, yeah, and then he's like, he just starts rattling off amounts of a huge amount of different milks they have. And I'm like, oat milk. Let's go with oat milk today. Get those omega-3s.
Yeah, okay. Well,
why doesn't every place have almond milk, though? I feel like that's
almond milk is kind of standard nowadays. I don't know. I don't know. Just, it is strange. I'm wondering. So really the only reason you would need it is for like a liquid drink or something, like if you're going to a place like for a boba tea or something like that.
Yeah. So I'm literally 100% just to drop in my boba tea.
But do you need it all the time, or do you are there sometimes where you're drinking boba tea and you're like, this doesn't really need an extra like cream?
No, I enjoy standard flavored boba tea, but I feel like now I'm kind of missing out because like my friend always gets the milk teas, and then he's like, oh, this milk tea is like so good. And I get it as a flavored tea. I'm like, it's okay, but maybe he likes it so much because it's the milk tea. Maybe I need it to be the milk tea to be able to really appreciate it.
Okay, well then I'm gonna just throw this out there. Why don't you try the milk tea, and then if you like it, have a crisis moment where you need to figure out about whether or not you need to carry.
I need to reevaluate my life and what I want to bring with me on my daily carry.
Mm-hmm, exactly. Then instead of like, like the men's satchel, you can have like a men's like
udder.
Yeah. No. That's extreme. I'm talking.
I love the thought of this now. It has a little nipple on it, and I just squirt it into my milk.
The looks you would get. Oh my god.
It's like a cross body bag, so it's like right there at the breast. I'm like,
it's perfect size. Yeah. Like what? You guys don't have one of these?
No, I just look over and I'm like, milk? Want some?
I was saying, I'll pass. Thanks.
It's warm.
No, you do not want warm milk.
If it's up on my body like that, how am I going to keep it cold?
Well, that was where I was going, was that instead of having a male satchel like purse type thing, it's like a crossbody cooler. Yeah, but it's not huge and bulky. It's just like enough to slip like a couple
Here's the thing. I wear one on my left that's cold, one on my right that's warm.
Oh boy.
And then they line up right with my actual nipples.
Would you like cold? Would you like warm?
Icy or fire?
Oh god. No. That would be too much for anybody, I think, to take. They'd say
for the world.
Yeah.
I think we could just say for the world.
You're like a Back to the Future. They're not ready for this yet. Maybe in the future, though.
Ahead of my time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I don't know. See, you say I should try it. Just the standard like whole milk.
Mm-hmm. Well, no. I mean, like, is that how he does it? Your friend does it with like whole milk?
Well, yeah, he doesn't care. I mean, he just orders it how it comes, and they almost always, I think, come with.
Okay, well then I would just order it and then quickly drive to like a convenience store or something, and then put some in just for freshness.
Here's the thing too. They always have. It's hard to put additives to a boba tea because they always have that film lid.
Oh yeah.
And you gotta like pierce through like it's a Capri Sun.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then again, the straws are so huge; it's practically a funnel.
You could just pour it in there. That's right.
Or I could just take a sip of flavored tea and then take a sip of milk.
Sitting there with your milk and your funnel, and you're dissecting everything, and then like pouring stuff in.
I'm like, hold on, I gotta pull the straw out so I get one sip that has a little more flavored tea. Oh, now I'm gonna push the straw in so I get a few more bobas. But then this time I want to add a little more milk. I have this whole system.
Exactly. You're kind of becoming an extremist when it comes to food. It's never good to go down that route.
Every sip is its own unique experience.
Yeah, that's true. You could put like you can bring a little dropper with you too, and just kind of like experiment with different extra flavors, different flavored milks. You could try the one with oat milk, put a drop of that in there, some almond, some coconut milk. What do they have now? They have cashew milk. Actually, cashew milk's pretty nice and creamy. Cashew milk is supposed to be the closest thing like texture-wise to actual milk to drink. I
feel like cashews have always been really close to peanuts in my mind. Can you make like peanut butter milk?
Yeah, it's a good point. I'm sure
peanut milk, I guess, not peanut butter milk. But
I understand what you mean.
It would kind of be peanutty.
Yeah, so. It probably would be. I can assume that you would. I think they probably don't be. I don't know why they don't. Probably because there's so many other things you can get peanut nutrition from.
And also probably all the peanut
forms.
allergies.
Yeah, and the allergy situation's dire. So honestly, like I feel so bad for people who have any kind of allergy, honestly.
We feel so bad for you.
I feel so bad for you. Not like in a pity way, but like in an annoying, like I feel the annoyance for you. Just how annoying it is. I don't know.
You're like, I'm annoyed that they exist.
I know, not that they exist, but that the allergy exists. Yeah.
Oh man. I got I have a fish allergy. I mean, do you hate on me?
I feel bad, yeah, that you have that fish allergy. However, I don't really like fish, so I'm trying
so
to.
You're like, I don't feel that bad.
It's hard to put myself
sympathize.
Yeah, sympathize, I guess is the word. But it depends. Like, are you allergic to all fish or just shellfish?
Everybody always assumes that it's shellfish at least, but shellfish I'm not allergic to. I can have tons of shellfish.
That's hilarious.
They're like, definitely shellfish, maybe more things. So I'm like, no, shellfish, bring it on.
Okay.
Love me some crab, some shrimp, I don't know if shrimp count, but scallions are fine, all that stuff.
Interesting.
It's like the standard, like fillet, standard, like salmon-y kind of fish. Salmon or cod or anything like that. Like anything that would come as like a fillet.
Interesting. I wonder, how did you find that out?
I ate it and it didn't like it.
Your body was, because you haven't always been allergic to fish.
Yeah, I like fish. I still eat it occasionally. I still get like sushi and stuff.
I'll take it.
And I'll have like 2 rolls, and then I'm like, it'll be worth the pain.
I'll take the pain for the fish.
It's almost like eating spicy stuff and then having very bad toilet time later.
I understand that. Right.
I
it's
assume
the
if I were
dopamine
lactose
effect.
intolerant, I would always be like, is it worth it to have this ice cream?
Yeah, ice cream is terrible for my stomach. I cannot handle dairy very much anymore. But when I say...
See, here's the thing. My doctor, when I got lactose intolerant, I assume this was just because like humans get lactose intolerant like at a certain age if they don't have enough of it. So he basically just prescribed me like ice cream. He's like, just anything you can do to get him to eat dairy on a regular basis. So it was like a summer of eating ice cream.
He sounds like a sadist. What is he doing to you?
Well, it's like a thing. Like humans naturally, like I guess from weaning off their mothers or whatever, like, you know, like you just naturally become intolerant to lactose.
Right.
So we've just, you know, gotten to a state where we can continue to have it, and then our bodies never become like adverse to it if we keep drinking it. Right. So
yeah, I don't know.
The solution was just keep having it, and then you won't have that problem.
I do notice that, like for me, there are certain milk products that I just cannot have, but then other milk products I'm fine with. So usually it's like aged dairy products like cheese and stuff I can have. But if it's milk or ice cream or yogurt or anything like that, upsets my stomach. And I've heard that a lot of it has to do with the sugars part, like the sugar part of the milk, not necessarily the lactin or whatever it is. But I don't know if that's because there's certain, like even just straight up milk has like a sugar content, a certain type of sugar, and it's that specific sugar that doesn't process in adults, some adults. Well,
yeah, lactose. All the
I don't know
oses.
if it is that. Maybe it is. Maybe that's part of
it's
the
like
lactose.
Sucrose, lactose. What are the other ones? Those are all the sugars
in the milk.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, I mean in nature, but like you know the suffix "ose," glucose, lactose, sucrose. Those are all sugars.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess you're right. Lactose is also known as milk sugar. So yeah, I guess it is the lactose. I've just been schooled.
I lost 10 minutes though because of my fish allergy. When I went to get vaccinated, whoop whoop.
What do you mean?
I'm immune to the COVIDs.
Oh,
well, I'm getting there.
Okay, yeah, but I mean, like, what does that have to do with the fish allergy? Sorry.
Well, I just stated it. Like, you know, they asked if I was allergic to anything, and I was like, I'm kind of allergic to fish. And then they were like, oh, you got to stay for longer observation.
Oh, okay. So you
I
got
just kind of had to sit
treatment.
there while EMTs spun around in a office chair, bored out of their minds.
They're like, please have some shock, please.
Yeah, they're like, could you have a little anaphylaxis
shock? They're like, we could really use some action. Yeah, but I was going to say, what was I going to say? Oh, about that. I've been really kind of diving, over the last couple of years, diving more and more into nutrition and how it affects the body and especially the brain. But so anyways, I've been listening to a lot of, science and reading a lot of books on it and whatever. And recently I was listening to, I think it was what was he? I want to say he was a professor of nutrition or, and genetic, like epidemiology and stuff. Like he had a lot of credentials. Anyways, he said that, interesting enough, it's like what people eat and the diet, and specifically diets in general of any kind, like plant-based diets or even fad diets. It's interesting because every single person processes food differently. So like one diet might not work at all for another person. And like you're saying, some people are allergic to things and some people aren't. But he went as far as to say, like, very interestingly, even the times of day that people eat you could be processing your food differently. So somebody might like think, I don't understand because one day I eat this and I'm fine, and the other day I eat it and I get an upset stomach. And he's saying that it depends on like the time of day, and your body metabolizes it and processes it differently at different times. So like he gave the example, like for him, he can eat muffins at nighttime, but if he eats them in the morning, like normal people, he gets an upset stomach. And it takes a lot of time to like figure every individual thing out for your own body. But, and like same thing with like some people process plant-based stuff better and some people process meat better. And same with diets, like fad diets, he said, where like some people can go on a diet and it can actually have harmful effects, whereas other people can do it and have positive results or whatever. So yeah, it was just really interesting. It's a little disheartening because it's like, you really have to take an active interest and experimental approach to your specific body and your diets and your habits and stuff like that, but it's also kind of, a relief to know that just because something isn't working for you, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're doing anything wrong. Maybe it's just you don't process or your body doesn't work the same way, obviously, as other bodies. So yeah, so you don't have to compare yourself so much to other people and their results, I guess.
Yeah, I always feel this way. Like this comes into my mind every time I get into, if you ever bring up that you're on a diet or you're even in any kind of preference or anything, like, oh, I try and eat like these kinds of grains or anything like that, like all of a sudden people will come out of the woodwork to tell you like their opinion and like how they read this and like it really works if you do this and like all this extra information, like, oh no, that's not how it works like this. You see, I was on keto for like 2 years and this happened and like all this stuff. And it's just like, well, cool, thank you, but it's really like different for each individual person. And so like, I've just found this works for me. It's like, it's great that like you found, I think it almost encourages it when people find out for themselves, like, oh, this is what's doing it for me. But they think that it's just like this universal like law that they figured out. And they're like, why doesn't everybody know this by now? Why isn't everybody like super fit and in shape when it's just this easy? Like,
yes, exactly. And that's why he's like, well, he specifically was talking about how he doesn't really support or believe in any kind of real diet as far as weight loss kind of thing. He said that because it's so individual, there's no way to suggest or support any kind of diet. But he said that universally, if you're going to follow any kind of diet, like for everybody, he said the best thing to do is to just focus on eating that 80-20 of 80% whole foods, and he even said that processed foods are okay. It's the ultra processed foods that really get you and like you should really avoid. But
well, what is that? What is an ultra processed food?
So he said that like it's really hard to find anything that's not processed unless it's, coming straight out of the ground kind of, or like specifically only has like basically one ingredient and it is that thing. That would be a whole food, but anything else, there's some processing involved. He's talking about like if there's like a multitude of ingredients in one thing, like something that has, especially like fast food and stuff like that. But like if you look at a
like
box,
a zebra cake.
Yeah, like a zebra cake.
That would be ultra processed, I guess.
Yeah. But yeah, he was just kind of saying, even he's like, even like people who avoid salt, he said that the salt is fine unless you're eating it in ultra processed foods, because they take like the normal amount of salt and then they add like a million other things to it. And then it becomes bad for you. He's like, it's not really the salt itself that's causing the problems. It's all the extra chemicals and ultra processed things that's causing the problems. And he said, salt's actually good for you. It's just, using it, obviously, responsibly, I guess. Like,
use your salt responsibly.
Yeah. Anyway, he went on this whole thing about salt, which was actually pretty interesting. But I don't remember every specific thing about it. But anyway, he had a lot of really interesting things because he also said calories, like people who count calories, he said really calories mean nothing. And because literally every single body is different. And he doesn't even understand why they have calorie, like, how they say for a 2,500 calorie diet, this is how many calories are within something or whatever. He said that really means nothing because he said the majority of people can eat more than that or less than that, and it really depends on the person. And I don't know, he went on this whole thing about calories and just saying it's kind of you don't really need to be looking at the calories. You need to be just focusing on eating whole non-processed foods as much as possible, but don't worry about, the 20% of like enjoying life, enjoying food, because that's all part of it. I don't know. It was a really interesting conversation. So let me tell you where I listened to that. That was on The Doctor's Kitchen, and it was episode number 86. So if you want to hear more in-depth details about all that, you can...
See, that's awesome. But it also points to this kind of confusion that comes from each person or whatever. Because I remember reading an article. I mean, I don't really consider calories too much. It's more like I go for, restricting like fat and stuff. But I remember reading an article about like caloric intake being directly linked to your lifespan, basically. Like people who consumed more calories were more likely to have a shorter lifespan, but that could also be like indirectly causal to something like people who eat more calories like eat less healthy.
Yeah, right? Yeah. Finding the correlation is kind of difficult, but yeah, you're right. I mean, there is an obvious correlation to higher calories to being overweight, but like you said, there's different lifestyle. Like obviously, somebody who's an athlete can eat like a ton of calories and not really have too much adverse effects, but somebody who's just sitting around doing nothing probably don't want to be exceeding. So yeah, you have to figure out where your limit is for your individual body and lifestyle and all of that, I guess.
All that much harder to figure out though if you're just getting started.
Yeah, it is a process. Yeah. But that's kind of his encouragement is like saying, don't give up if something's not working for you. Just adjust it and try something new because it could just be your body.
I think I gotta start looking at my carbs too, because like I'm going hard on the homemade ramen.
I'm not gonna lie to you.
All about it.
Yeah, carbs have been in my diet lately. I don't know what it is, but I've been craving carbs too lately.
You know what's weird though? Like
the homemade ramen. Wait.
The reason I went down this ramen rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Is because I realized that I was like, oh man, I want to get one of those like top ramens, just classic thing, and just mix something up at home and enjoy it. Turns out, most of those like the common like 90-cent package ramen that you find at like the grocery store, that's super high in fat. It's like half your daily value in fat to have like what I would normally eat.
I know, and
it's crazy. Don't
you hate how they always say it's for like 2 servings or something like that, and you're like, what are you talking about? This is 1 serving. I always think that. Well,
my issue was that I usually use 2 packets instead of 1.
Oh, okay.
So they were like this is 1 serving, and I was like, that's a half a serving.
Okay, so are you home making your ramen now?
Well, okay. I mean, I am significantly zhuzhing up. I went and got, I ended up like researching and finding, because I was like, that's crazy. That's so high in fat. It's just noodles. Like, that should be like the carb heaven, and that's it.
That's true. I don't understand why a lot of foods put so much additive stuff to stuff when it's really unnecessary. It really doesn't alter.
It is unnecessary.
The flavor that much.
I found organic ramen, and there was even non-organic, but I found like Halo ramen that was like an organic option, but also I don't remember the brand name, but they're like a common one you find at Publix. Were just they have fat-free like options. They're like the fat-free versions of them, and they were just as good. So I don't know like what they were adding by doing that with the other ramen. I mean, I guess you could get like your full, I guess it gets like a Soylent situation where you get your full macros in like a single serving.
Yeah.
You can just like, you just down a thing of ramen and be totally satisfied for the whole day.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I really appreciate that I could find some that weren't. And then I went on a whole, rabbit hole of like zhuzhing up. I got those green onions in there. I got some radishes. I cooked up some bamboo shoots as a topping.
Dang.
I got some nori. I dressed it with a little seaweed. I got I made a ramen egg, which is like a hard boiled. I don't know if you ever had those in there. That's like the hard boiled, or it's like, they call them soft boiled eggs, I guess, because the yolk stays like kind of custardy. But then it's like marinated in soy sauce and stuff, so it's like almost black. When they put it in there. Well, not black, like brown, I guess. Oh. Like it's darker than you'd expect an egg to be.
Okay. So how do they? No, not really. How do they make it brown?
They put in soy sauce. They marinate it
before,
it's like
before they cook it or after.
So it's cooked and then it's peeled.
Oh, okay.
And then you put the peeled egg into like a marinade.
Oh, do you cut it before you marinate it? Like cut it in half? You just put the whole thing like the...
Yeah, you put the whole thing and then you cut it when you are ready to drop it on top. There's a top.
Drop it on top. Get your rap song into that.
I will say that I've just about had it with shelling hard-boiled eggs.
I know
it can be quite frustrating.
Yes, I
ended up throwing away like half a carton of eggs, and I got some kind of chipped up. Oh
no!
Soy sauce eggs out of it.
I know, and that's the hardest part. It's not so much getting it off; it's keeping the egg nice and flat and like smooth.
Especially since it's like soft boiled. Mm-hmm. The center isn't. It's like soft, so the egg like moves around more than you'd expect like a really hard-boiled egg to. Like a real hard-boiled egg's like more firm, but this one kind of squishes and has a little bit of give, so it tends to like split, like, you know, at the ends where it gets squished and like it creases and then it splits, because eggs don't crease, they split.
Sure. Yeah.
So then the center pops and then you got goo going everywhere. And then,
those when they burst. So I've heard two things. I haven't tried them, because I never really have the patience to actually wait for the perfect egg to boil it. But they do say that boiling eggs that are a little older, like not like newer eggs, are better. And also leaving them in the cold water for a long time until they're like basically completely cold.
Yes, I think the cold bath has a more significant
But who
impact.
has time for that?
Let's just say I've been making a lot of ramen.
Nice.
And I've tried many different methods to solve this issue. And I don't think the older eggs help.
Okay.
From my experience.
Okay.
It doesn't seem to change anything. But the ice bath, big help.
Big difference. Have you tried the cup thing?
Oh, like where you suck it into a bottle or something?
Where you like put it inside of a tall cup and then you like whirl it around and like shake it or whatever, and it's supposed to like crack up the egg, and then the eggshell's supposed to just fall right off.
No, I have not.
Okay, we look into that one.
Maybe I'll give that a go. Yeah. That sounds like a life hack that probably would destroy an egg.
It could. I don't know. It could be.
It's like life hack, and it works so well for them. They just like bang it on a table, and the shell comes off.
Right.
And then you just destroy yours. It's like, oh god.
Yeah, I know. Some of those life hacks are just pranks.
Or it's like 1,000,001 chance, and they're like, okay, I have $20 and 15 cartons of eggs. Let's go.
Yeah, I wonder how many takes that took. True. I don't know.
I don't know.
Anyway.
But yeah, it's been actually pretty delicious. I haven't been able to figure out how to make bamboo shoots though, really. I did it for a topping the first time and it looked cool.
Yeah.
But they were gross. Like, I don't know what they put them in. It just says like in water or whatever, but I'm like, this is not water. Because I've had bamboo shoots in like fresh bamboo from the like at ramen shops and stuff. And it's delicious.
Okay.
But this is like
it's hard,
weird and vinegary. Yeah, it's hard, it's stiff, it's fibrous. I ended up cooking it the second time because I was like, okay, maybe I have to like give it a stir fry or something to like soften it up.
Yeah.
Even though they seem pretty raw on the ones that I've had at the ramen shops, but whatever.
Okay.
I've tried boiling them, I've tried frying them. Nothing gets that taste out. It does soften it though, at least. Okay. So you can at least physically eat it. But
yeah, you know what I think would be good in a ramen is asparagus.
Yeah, that would be good. I think I've had a ramen with asparagus. I've definitely had sushi with asparagus.
Okay, yeah.
Trying to think of a ramen I've had with asparagus. There is a delicious ramen at Jinya that has Brussels sprouts in it. It's really good.
Okay. That's new. I'm starting to reprise the Brussels sprout because
Reprise the Brussels sprout. It's the name of this.
It was just, I don't know what our generation, the adults in our young generation, were thinking when they started cooking Brussels sprouts and like how they could stomach eating them the way that they cooked them when we were growing up. It's like, I don't know. It's like, it was like the most disgusting.
I like how this is like a sudden realization of everybody that it was like a big meme that everybody hated Brussels sprouts.
Yeah.
And then I don't know, like just recently, it's like people have rediscovered them. And I've seen several articles like this, like the tragedy of the Brussels sprout. It's like a whole article about how like 20 years ago, people had like totally gotten to the rock bottom of Brussels sproutage.
Yes.
And
I was like, never in my life again will I eat a Brussels sprout. But then, now you go to places and they have it like cooked so good and you think, how did I ever hate this? And then you think, because it was obviously, cooked horribly. I don't know. Like the process of that was just not the same. I don't know. People just got really...
Yeah. You know who, and it, like, changed my mind? Well, I mean, I never really had a huge opinion on them, but who made me really love Brussels sprouts was Fresh Kitchen.
Yeah.
Or as Mama Dearest calls it, fetch chicken.
Let's go to fetch chicken. They're gonna fetch me some chicken. That's funny. Yes, they do. I think that was the last place. I think that's the place that I went to and it changed my mind. Yeah. I think it was there.
They're in the perfect little bite size. They're nice and like roasted. They have the thick salt on it. So good.
Yeah, it's good. Any other vegetables that need a little reviving that aren't so good? What's your least favorite vegetable?
If they could go ahead and revive horseradish.
Ugh, no. I don't
it.
know. First of all, that's not even a vegetable. Second of all,
radish isn't a vegetable.
Well,
here's the thing.
That's a
Actually,
sauce. Horseradish.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like a pickled. It's like a garn. It's like a con. No, what is it? What are pickles? Pickles are still vegetables.
They're cucumbers.
It's just pickled radishes, right?
What?
Horseradish? What is horseradish?
No, it's a sauce. It's like this sauce.
No, there is a horseradish sauce, but there's like.
Are you talking? There's an actual plant called horseradish?
Oh yeah, there's an actual plant. So yeah, it's made from a plant. I thought it was like a pickled kind of radish, but I guess it's just a straight up radish type. Horseradish, Americana russicana, I'm not done. Cocholaria amacoria.
Oh boy! So
it's the full scientific
translation
genus and is the perennial plant of the family. Oh gosh, Brassicariae.
Oh.
Pretty sure I just summoned a Native American spirit. Is a root vegetable cultivated and used worldwide as a spice and a condiment. Okay, so they're calling it a spice and condiment.
Okay, so it's probably like ginger or
Yeah, that's true. Because ginger is also
or
it's a root vegetable,
turmeric, something like that.
But it's also a spice.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to be straight up eating that. I'm sorry.
I don't know.
I mean, I don't know anybody who eats. I mean, can you think of anybody who eats, like, just takes a bite out of ginger?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Maybe there are people.
Our uncle.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, that's.
I don't know. Some people, like, they slice it up for, like, sushi and stuff.
Yeah. But do they eat it or is it just a garnish for
and
flavor?
Then there's those, there's, like, little chews. They're like, they're like cubes of, you know what I'm talking about? Cubes of ginger that are, like, rolled in sugar.
Yeah. But is it just pure ginger? I don't know. Anyways, okay. So you want to. You want to bring back or you want to revamp?
I want to revamp it because obviously it's bad now. I agree with you. It's too much.
It's just so bad.
It's too powerful. It needs some kind of it needs something in it that cuts it. You know?
Yeah, like
makes it available for the modern man.
Like what? Sugar
or woman? Yes. It needs a syrup.
Just throw sugar on there and it's good. You could deep
Just
fry it
until it's oh yeah. Honestly, cauliflower has had quite the resurgence, I feel like.
Cauliflower?
Like everybody realized you could turn it into rice, like with the whole keto thing going
True.
on. I feel like that's
like
a
mashed
big part of it.
potatoes.
Yeah, they made mashed potatoes out. Like basically everything that keto people couldn't have, they're like, we can make it out of cornstarch. It's all built out of cornstarch. Just make cornstarch bread.
Yeah, I've had the cauliflower pizzas, like the pizza dough.
Or cornstarch. I keep saying cornstarch. Yes, cauliflower. Sorry.
Yeah, cauliflower. The pizza dough, and it was just like not good. But I have had like the buffalo cauliflower. I've had the rice. I've had the mashed cauliflower, and that's all good. But I don't think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes they get too experimental with.
Have you been to Susai?
No.
They have deep fried cauliflower nuggets. They're not exactly healthy, but they're delicious and they're spicy.
Okay.
Yeah, and they have like a ton of awesome sauces there, so you can get your
awesome sauce.
You can get your dip on.
Well, yeah, we do like our dip.
Mm-hmm. You know me.
We like to dip. We dip, you dip. That's a thing, right?
Did I talk last time about how I was going to make roti?
Roti? Yes, you did. Yeah.
I made roti.
How was it?
It was good.
Okay.
That's about it.
All right.
It didn't layer as well as I wanted it to. It didn't like pull apart quite as right.
Uh-huh.
Like it had a nice flaky exterior and it had kind of a doughy interior, but there was no flakage. It was like it was a dense doughy interior.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. That's not.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah. Did you mess up?
Well, instead of using butter to layer it, I used pumpkin puree.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So, it had its issues.
Okay. Well, at least it tasted good, right?
Oh yeah, it was good. And I saved tikka masala with it.
Okay.
So, yeah, I had it with some tikka masala. I wrapped it up. Oh, so good.
Oh, amazing. Well, good for you.
I like that I skimped making butter for the flakes. Like I didn't get the ghee so that it could get its delicious flakage, but then I just put chicken marsala on it, which is basically like butter chicken.
True. Okay.
But, you got to try and balance things out.
Yeah.
Make it a little more manageable.
Sure. Cool. Yeah, I don't think I experimented with any new cooking recently. Yeah. Got nothing.
Well, I've been reading Dune.
Oh yeah, how's that going? Are you done?
It's been going good.
Done yet?
No. I mean, I just started it like a week ago.
Oh.
It's a pretty hefty book, so taking my time. It's also, I found out like there's a huge portion at the back that's like the appendix and the map and the like economic status of different factions and like
yeah.
They got all this. They have basically the Similarian like on the back of the book, but and I'm glad I looked at the table of contents. So if I'm ever concerned about the political landscape, I can go check the appendix.
Okay, so tell the audience, the listeners, what the book is like. What Dune is, because I'm sure there's people listening who don't know. And
well, there's spice and it's got a flow.
Oh,
okay. The spice must flow.
It's not a cookbook, guys. It's not.
It's a desert planet, very inhospitable, and there's people on it, and it's in the future, but it's also kind of retro. It's awesome.
Is it like Guardians of the Galaxy? Woo!
It has that kind of awesome vibe that you get from like the book I read before, Android Dream of Electric Sheep. Do Android Dream of Electric Sheep is like based on Blade Runner, so that kind of like it's like a look into the future from the past, right?
Yeah.
It's like the book was written in the 60s about the far future, so it's like this interesting look into the far future of like 2021, where we have hover cars and there's androids like living among us.
Oh man, they're gonna be so disappointed.
But it's cool. Like there's like some grit to it. There's some realism. There's some like I could actually see like some of the stuff coming to fruition
eventually. Yeah. If you don't want to read the book, there is a movie. But
yeah, there's a movie. Actually, there's about to be another movie for Dune, so hopefully I'll be able to finish the book before that comes out.
Yeah,
and I can watch it and go, yeah, it wasn't as good as the book.
I know. That's almost like it's like the great thing about reading the book, but it's also kind of a downfall of reading a book that turns into a movie, because you'd probably fully enjoy the movie had you never read the book, but now that you've read the book, it throws everything off. I think we've talked about that before. Just But what was I going to say about Dune? Oh, I was going to ask, do sheep dream about, or do androids dream about sheep?
Do andrews dream droids about drammy shreeps? Did I ever learn?
Did you ever learn when you read the book?
The quandary?
Yeah.
Do androids dream of electric sheeps? Sheep.
We need to know the answer.
No, I don't think they do.
Okay.
So.
But back to Dune. Is it a really long book? Or is it like one of those situations where you're just having trouble finding the time to read it?
Yeah, well, no, it's been like a week. Did you expect me to finish a book in a week?
No, not at all. But you said it was.
I appreciate your gusto.
Not at all. It's just that you said it was a really hefty book, so like it's
thick. Well, I mean, my friend gave me his hardcover copy because he's like, you got to read this book. It's so good. Okay. I've been enjoying it so far, and it's actually nice because it's like a really nice book. It's nice to have the physical thing to hold. Although I've mostly been reading it on my phone. Honestly,
I know. Okay, so here's my thing about phone reading.
Okay.
I mean, it does tell you at the bottom sometimes how much percentage of the book you have left or how much you've read or whatever.
Right.
But sometimes it's kind of nice to know that, like, not that you don't know how much more you have or whatever, but it also can be really frustrating. Whereas in a book you hold, you always know how far you are in the book. I don't know.
So you're saying phone reading's better because you don't know when the end is coming?
I don't know what I'm saying, because sometimes I really appreciate that. I'm like, I feel like I could just read this forever. And then there's this like sad moment where it's over and you didn't know it was going to be over that fast because you couldn't see, you know? You're like, you're reading and all of a sudden you're like, oh, there's another chapter, right? And you're like, no, that's it.
Like, that's it.
And
yeah. And they're like, and then he walked into the kitchen. And you're like, and then you start turning the pages and it's like, dedication to my family. And you're like, what?
Have you enjoyed this book? Yeah. And there's this like.
Others from this author.
No mental preparation for that. So I don't know. But I always forget to look at the percentage. Like, I
always look. So it's not
okay.
This is a new concept to me.
But yeah, I don't know. I definitely have moments and times where I like to, I kind of go back and forth, where I love having it on my phone or my Kindle or whatever. And then I love having it on like a physical book. It just depends. And I also really so it also depends on the type of book. So if it's a fiction, I probably would read it either on my phone or a real book. But if it's nonfiction, I like to listen to it on like Audible. I feel like I get more out of it and I can process it better if I'm listening to it and doing things. If I'm just reading it, I'll pass out. I'll just fall asleep. I probably would never even finish a book that's full of tons of information. But yeah.
I feel like I kind of have the opposite. Like,
really?
I can't really concentrate unless that's my only focus. Like, some books, it works to have it kind of on in the background. Like, I've listened to a couple audiobooks. Especially like driving and stuff, it's pretty easy. But I almost find that sometimes like I just get distracted with what I'm doing.
Oh, I don't do anything.
I'm like, oh, what happened?
Yeah. I don't do anything when I'm listening. Oh, I mean, I like you said, I drive, or I do it when I'm on my walks or bike rides. But yeah, if I'm actually like doing something, I'm not a multitasker, so I cannot.
I like the thought of you just sitting on your bed and someone walks in and you got your earbuds in, you're staring at the wall and somebody's like, what are you? And you're like, I'm reading.
It's like,
go away.
Yeah, it's like that episode. I think we talked about this before, but that episode of Seinfeld where Elaine's boyfriend Putty, they go on an airplane and they sit down and they get all settled and she pulls out a magazine and she looks over and he's just like staring forward. And she's like, do you want something to read? And he's like, nah, I'm good. And then she's like, do you want something to listen to? Nah. And he's like, basically just wants to sit there and stare. I'm like, what a weirdo. And she's like, we have to break up. I can't take this. It's pretty funny, but
you gotta break up at the end of the flight though. Come on.
Anyway, yeah, but it just depends. But I find that like Kindle books or books you read on your phone tend to be cheaper too than actually buying the book. And then you don't have the problem of having the book when you're done reading it. And then what do you do with it? You know, it's like you can keep it. I rarely ever reread a book. So I don't know. And then also on your phone and stuff, you can highlight stuff and, you know, you can refer back to it. It's always there.
is like you long press on a word and it brings up the dictionary definition or whatever.
Exactly. Like if you don't know something, it's very easy to find. I don't know. So there's a lot of major pros to that, to having, but there's kind of a nice feeling when it's just you and a paper book and turning the pages, and so it's a different experience. But I will say that rarely do I ever do that anymore.
I have an issue because I've been using an app on my phone I just wanted something super simple. I love it. It's like dark mode. It's got really simple interface and everything. Easily reads like any kind of format of book, like EPUB or PDF or whatever. Mm-hmm. It keeps all the chapters organized, keeps your place in multiple books, and shows you a nice home screen. Everything's great about it. Except long pressing, their solution to the dictionary thing is you long press on a word, highlights that one word, and then drop down menu comes up, and one of them is like dictionary, one of them is like synonyms or something, and I'm like, who would ever need a synonym while they're reading a book? And then I press the dictionary and it takes me to Wikipedia, which is like the worst version of a dictionary.
Yeah.
It's like the first like 2 pages, like I gotta scroll like 2 full lengths on my phone before I actually get to the definition. The first whole part's like etymology, like what it was originally in Latin, like where did the name originate, like what is the pronunciation, and like
that's
all this
true.
other stuff. I'm like, I don't care.
Just tell me what it means. Yeah, that's true. That happens a lot to me too when I'm trying, not necessarily with just a definition of a word, but like if I'm trying to find something out about something and then it sends me, and I love Wikipedia, don't get me wrong, I use it tons, but
yeah, it's great as an encyclopedia and a dictionary.
Right. So if you want to know like a specific, like something specific about something, yeah, it's kind of like you have to sift through like a ton of information just to find it. But yeah,
like if I wanted to know something like how a word came to be rather than what it means, it might be in the dictionary, but who knows? Maybe the good old encyclopedia would be the way to go.
Yeah, just pull out one of those dusty books and yeah. Mom used to have these really nice red back encyclopedias. I'm sure she still has them somewhere.
The World of something, or the Book of the World?
No, it was like a bunch of them. It was like probably like a whole volume of different.
They were brown though.
Are they brown? I thought they were maroon.
I guess they're kind of like a reddish brown.
Yeah. Okay. We can
compromise.
It
was a huge collection.
And I remember loving those. Like I just remember as a kid, just randomly, I could just pull one down, open it up, and learn something new, and it was just the best.
And now there's a Chrome extension for that.
Now there's,
and you can procrastinate from your work doing that.
Yeah, I know. I don't know. There's just something nice about, maybe it's just a nostalgic feeling or whatever. But back to the Audible stuff. So I cannot listen to fiction books or any kind of like, even with podcasts that are like story time, where it's not just conversation or information. If it's like a, reenactments and things like that, I don't know. Like I cannot for some reason get into those, and
radio plays.
It messes things up. I like to visualize. I think I like to have my own sort of like imaginative way of creating those characters and the story and everything of like a fictional story. Whereas, I just kind of like even the voices of the different characters and stuff. It's like, I wouldn't have done that. I would have gone a different way with that. So I don't know. Just can't do it. But
yeah,
I do love Audible for other stuff.
Here's the thing. I feel like I'm broken because whenever I want to, I feel like I don't have a lot of time. Like I don't have a long commute or anything, especially during COVID.
Yeah.
So I feel like the times in which I would normally want to listen to an audiobook are far and few between. So the issue becomes like I said, I kind of will lose interest sometimes if it's too short. So the issue becomes I need to be able to like listen to them in a short enough amount of time that I can stay focused. So I end up always listening to them at like extra playback speed, or even like sometimes I'll bring them into Audacity and like truncate the silences and stuff so I can like compact the listening time down as much as I can.
Yeah.
So it becomes like sometimes I can get a book like down to 4 hours or something. Like I could do that. It's like 4 podcasts.
Yeah. See, that's another good thing about audiobooks is you can do that. You can kind of like speed up the like reading could take forever, but listening to it can fly by. And I do have moments where if I'm not focused, I have to keep rewinding it and saying like, oh, I missed like a chunk there. I wasn't paying attention. But it's nice that I could just rewind and go back to where I stopped paying attention. I don't know. It's nice. Technology is nice. So,
did you listen to my playlist I sent you?
Did I listen to the playlist you sent me?
Yeah, a playlist for 19th century villains scheming against their enemies.
Oh, yeah. Well, yes, I did. I remember that now. I thought it was like something you sent me during a podcast.
What'd you think?
You know, I had like I said, I had a very roller coaster of emotions throughout that. It's definitely worth a listen. I'm trying to think of the right moment in time to listen to it. Like
perhaps the 19th century.
No. I mean, like, at what point of my day, like, should I listen to it before I'm taking on a big project? Should I listen to it before I start to talk to a difficult client? Should I listen to it when I want to be happy, when I'm going to the beach? I don't know. Like, where's the appropriate time for that kind of music? It's hard to say.
I feel like it lends a weight to your day. I've been listening to it in the morning.
Are you saying it uplifts you or it weighs you down?
It creates an absolute mood, I would say.
Okay.
And it produces a gravity to the situation.
Oh, okay.
That it weighs you down, but then gives you momentum with that weight.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Because there was a couple of times where I started to feel kind of like sad and depressed. I was like, gosh, this is like intense like music, really. Yeah. But then other times I was like, yeah, I could take on the world. I could really, yeah. But it's funny because normally in the morning.
For anybody wondering, just a quick aside. This is a classical playlist with a lot of kind of down tempo, like Frederick Chopin kind of style of music. You know,
if you know what that is, it's basically like
if you know what that
like scores, music scores, but that of a very like villain type.
I mean, I think the name speaks for itself.
Yeah, true. But I'm like, it's not like a fighting scene necessarily. It's more like a scheming kind of like build up, or like the thing that happens before the actual blow up.
It's like, imagine there's a montage in a movie like Sherlock Holmes or something set in the 19th century, where a villain is scheming against his enemies, and it's cutting between frames of him, like, thinking, perhaps maniacally laughing to himself, these sorts of situations.
Yeah. Kind of like that. Now, I will say that I do love the idea of romanticizing your life. So, like, you laugh, but it's like, seriously, like, I believe that things like that will help. And music is a great way to start romanticizing your life. And it could be, by romanticize, I just kind of mean like turn your life into a little movie and take those moments that might seem a little dull or disinteresting or like hard or mundane or who knows, whatever, or just like sad or whatever.
And become a 19th century villain scheming against his
enemies. It totally changed your whole mood. That's true. And what was I going to say? Like, usually in the morning I listen to lo-fi, like chill.
That's a pretty good one.
Yeah, like I really love just kind of like slowly waking up, getting into the mood, because it's kind of like chill, but it's also upbeat. So it kind of, I don't know, it kind of like puts me in a good mood. And then, but I will sometimes listen to, like when I'm doing an exercise, like especially outside if I'm running or walking or biking or something, like I will listen to music scores. I like Andrew, I would highly recommend putting some music scores on your playlist and trying that out. Next time you like are doing something intense and you just like need a boost, that totally like especially like a fight scene, like get a fight scene going, like music going, and you're like, I can do this. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, and then imagine yourself fighting everyone throughout the day. Be like, oh, give it to them.
That's right. Yeah, actually.
And somebody tries to take you down. I listened to my fight music this morning.
Exactly. Yeah, I was.
Baby, I'm a firework.
No. That's not the vibe. Or yeah, like if you're driving to work and you're like dreading going in, not that you ever should do that. If you're in a job where you dread this every day going into work,
Get out.
Find a plan and get out. Like, I mean, don't just leave.
Most important thing is find a plan.
First get a plan down and then get out. But yeah, I mean, I definitely have a lot of days, not a lot of days, but just days where I'm on my commute and I'm just like, I need some.
I don't know about today.
I need an uplift. Like I need to feel like I'm entering a scene to a movie, and I am the hero or the main star of this. I don't know. Maybe not always that, but.
Well, this is definitely an antagonistic viewpoint of a playlist.
Yeah, I don't know. Or just like you're floating into some like happy place,
Here's the thing. I love the amount of like settings and ambiances that are available on YouTube. I think I've talked about this before. This is definitely one of those, but I just love that once this video ended, I was like, wow, what a playlist. I can't believe it just came up randomly in my inbox, and it immediately started recommending me a bunch of other ones by like the same guy.
Cool.
Stuff like your ancient Greek god sleeping. and like all these other playlists that are like all this classical music that's set to this or like whatever mood that he's laid out for in the title.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's pretty hilarious, but awesome. Like every time you listen to one, you're like, definitely. So maybe you should look for one that's more heroic for your days.
Yeah, heroic or like, well, I mean, it just depends on the like the event.
Sometimes you want to be devious.
Sometimes you want to be deviant. Sometimes you want to be like flighty and just like mystical. Sometimes, sometimes you want to be villainous, and sometimes you want to be heroic. Sometimes you want to be loving. I don't know.
Whatever the situation calls for.
Yeah. The other day I was driving to the beach and, traffic was kind of getting me down. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to turn on some like ska / I like lo-fi for this too, because lo-fi is really kind of like jazzy, ska, reggae. It can mix a lot of that in there. So it's very like chill, kind of, it could have a beachy vibe, but I do like to add in some actual beachy type music. But yeah, and it like just totally switched my mood around. I was like, you know what? This is actually really cool. I'm turning the windows down, rolling the windows down, opening my sunroof.
Turn down for what?
It's like I'm now in a scene of a movie where I'm driving to the beach, and it's the best. So yeah, definitely like everybody right now, get a playlist for romanticizing your life. It's like your romanticize playlist of just music and scores. I prefer like non-verbal music for that, because I feel like it's really like a scene in a movie, whereas some music can just feel like a club setting.
Do you have a lot of non-verbal ska? I feel like ska is
yeah. I mean, ska's not, yeah. No, I don't. But you can get kind of like reggae-themed type vibes.
Reggae too, though.
Reggae too?
Reggae as well.
Yeah. Speaking of that, for people who are like in my you know, and you probably are a fan of 311, right?
I know all about it.
Okay, because you were in that music scene. Anyways, the lead singer, who is Nick Hexum, he has recently started a Twitch channel, and he is now like creating music and stuff on there. So he actually just did it like a couple days ago, maybe yesterday. I don't know. Yeah, I think yesterday was his first day. So It's pretty interesting. And, if you're into that, you can check him out. I know my boyfriend Mike is a huge 311 fan, so he was like super excited about it.
Is amber the color of his energy?
It is, yeah. It is exactly that. It's funny.
All about him.
Because he's like a huge fitness guy, like health and fitness, whatever. So his original idea was to have a stream for that. He was like, I'm going to have a workout stream and talk about health and wellness, and like we're just going to like build a community where we can share ideas and like whatever. But
Sure.
his first day, he was like, let's just make some music and jam. And I think
jam.
that's become, well, I mean, it's only the second day, I think, but he's
Right.
doing that again today. So I think,
Well, go figure.
I mean, that is what he's known for. So I don't know, but it would be kind of cool to see.
Maybe he's doing a bait and switch. He's drawing people in like, yeah, it's a total workout stream. It's like, nah, he just plays music. And then everybody signs up. And then he's like,
And now I'm getting you hooked on health. That could be very true. I don't know. They've been popular for the longest. So what
a wellness pusher.
Yeah, right. What's really interesting about that band, though, is that they're one of like the only bands, and I can't really think of any other band that started
they are the only
so
band,
young. Right. Like they started, and yeah, I know, right? Like they are the only one you should listen to. Cut it out with all this ska and all this scores. Like anyway, the only playlist you should have in your Romanticize Your Life is 311. So, but they
well, I mean,
they are very positive.
Isn't there Justin Bieber? There you go.
No, we don't know who that is. So anyway, they've been around since I want to say early 90s, maybe mid 90s, I think. But I think it's like early 90s. Anyways, and they were in high school when they started, or even like before high school. They were really young. But then they started becoming like, more well-known in high school and like right after high school. And every single person in that band is still together today, and they still perform and they still travel and they still like, which is crazy. And they're all friends and everything. Like they didn't break up and they didn't have like any crazy drama or anything. So
always nice to see the sane ones.
Yeah, it was pretty neat. But
oh man, Daft Punk. That's kind of old news at this point. They're over.
Oh, should we shed a tear?
Well, they're robots, so they would disapprove.
Oh, true.
You would rust them.
Okay, that is sad. Sorry to hear it.
Their goodbye video was sad. Did you see it?
No.
It was like them in a desert, like walking together. Like they always do these really, I don't know how to describe their videos, like abstract, not really abstract, like surreal. I don't know. Anyways, they're just walking in a desert. They're all in chrome. You've seen Daft Punk.
Yeah.
Like they have the helmets and everything, and they're walking, and then like one starts walking a little slower until like there gets to be a big distance between them, and then finally the other one like looks behind him, and he's back there just standing still.
Aww.
He walks over to him, and he like turns around, and he just like looks down and like spreads a flap on his back, and there's like a self-destruct sequence there.
Yikes.
And he just like presses it and walks off, and the guy detonates like alone in the desert.
Oh, dang.
And it was just like the end of Daft Punk.
That's official.
Like,
can't come back.
Okay.
You can't come back from that.
Yeah, it was like interesting.
Yeah, I know.
I wonder if they blew up the real helmet, because that would be super official. Because like they showed him blowing up.
Nah, they wouldn't do that. I think they have to have a.
That would be the real one.
They have to have a remake possibility. I feel like every movie has leaves a little room for something.
Or he just has in his records the helmet hanging up there.
Yeah.
Does anybody know what they actually look like? I've never researched this, but
no,
I've never seen their faces. That's for sure.
I never cared enough to check, to be honest.
Damn.
Damn.
Take that. Daft Punk faces. Face reveal.
Ooh.
I don't know. There's a lot of pictures. Okay, these seem like the same guys, but this is also seems like them young a long time ago. So I don't know.
Yeah, I think I've told you about clowncore before. I think even on this podcast, but it's kind of like that where they're very mysterious about their whole thing, and they have a YouTube, and that's kind of where they're performing, and they do tour, but it's very weird because they'll go periods of time where they just kind of go silent, but it's for the purpose of creating like drama. I don't know. It's weird. Like they intentionally and then they'll have it.
Drum it up.
And then they'll have like a remake, like where they'll come back, and then it's like everybody gets excited again.
It's like a reality show.
Yeah. It's kind of, they're really good, but it's like, I don't know how to explain it, but they cover their faces, so you don't know who they are, but we do know who they are because
let's not lie. It's not joke around here.
Like the main guy, he has another band that he's in with a girl, like him and a girl are in a band together, and it's like obvious that it's the same person. But if you ever ask him about it, like if you ever like,
he's like, who?
He's like, what's clowncore? Like, what's that? Like he denies.
What is that?
Yeah, it's kind of
Classic.
interesting. But anyway,
well, there are some bands to check out, people.
Yeah, get your playlist.
Check us out on Twitter, where we're most active. And then
Lies.
We're on LinkedIn.
No.
Check out our MySpace.
Our Zynga.
You know.
Check out our Zynga account.
Yeah, we're on chat room, TikTok. Check it out.
We're everywhere. We're everywhere, and we're nowhere.
The official Discord. If you join now, you get a free emote.
Right. But whatever you do not go to Instagram because we are not there.
The riddle of the day is,
how are you?
All right. See the answer on Instagram.
Definitely. Check that out.
All right, people. That's all. That's it.
Yeah.
Go home, folks.
Good night. We'll see you next time.
I love you, that's why I say cheerio, not goodbye. Remember our old tune, be back soon.
Okay.
Cut.
Oh, are you talking to me?
No, I'm talking to nobody else that's around me.
Okay.
Just myself. Ooh.
Should we do that like classic Ferris Bueller ending where it's like, it's over, guys, go home? Oh wait, I already did that.
You did do that
man,
before.
I'm a hack.
You're such a loser. You can't remember anything.
I'm a hack.
You're such a hack.
I'm so unoriginal.
You just pull out the same jokes over and over again. It's disgusting.
Yeah. I'm just swimming in my own joke soup.
Ew.
I love